Hey everybody, welcome back. More Wargame Red Dragon time. And today we're not going to do the wheel. Instead, we're gonna fulfill a deck request, which was Italy Armored. Well as another request that says, and let me read that out loud for you. I quote, requesting a game where your ASFs stay behind your front lines. One thing 10v10 tags teach you is the right air meta. You have to circle behind your lines even with 7.7 kilometers or less, missiles, and not just 31s and Tomcats. This happens to match IRL tactics, where you release your missiles and then go defensive with MRAMs. And it's super rare to be able to eliminate your opponent's ASF. You're just trying to snipe or stop the bombing runs. Which makes sense, but I always circle behind my enemy line, behind the front line. If you maybe mean like behind, let's say, like far behind the front line or something, that's a whole different story. Yeah, air ASFs is a thing, right? I would always be. You have to time it right when you want to circle your planes, right? Because if you circle your planes, sometimes you're, especially if you have both of your ASFs, let's say you have two KWSs, and you have both of them circling at the same time, the opponent could just wait until they run out of fuel, send their planes, and then you can't respond because they're both refueling, right? So the whole circling thing is quite interesting, which is why I always or usually say don't circle with all of your ASFs at the same time. Of course, there's always exceptions, right? For example, when you do a big push or something and you want to advance while after you build up a push and there hasn't been some skirmishing in a while, obviously there's a good reason to have them at the ready circling so they don't have to travel as far from the air spawn, especially on bigger maps, right? Or let's say you know your opponent has a lot of bombers and they kept spamming them, and just about now is the time when they would be ready to come out again, right? And you want to have a breathing room. Of course, there's situations, right? Um, but usually I'd like to think that at least with ASFs I'm actually pretty decent. It's usually like A10s and such that I'm really bad at. But Italy Armored, we're also gonna try to, let's say, be, let's call it more passive with our ASFs, alright? Italy Armored, not the best armor I got there, I'll tell you that. They have some solid infantry, but obviously Italy has no IFVs. One of the situations, by the way, where I would definitely consider at least using a Jeeps V, especially in this scenario where you get one with 120 kmh off-road speed. Definitely a decision you can make. You get no shocks in here. And obviously, like I said, no IFVs, but some good like spam infantry and such. So first of all, we want some Milan 2s. Reservists are good, but they only have a 1 armor transport. You could also go for Fanteria di Linea, which I don't think there's a wrong decision to be made here. Okay, we want the VCC1 probably for the Fanteria. You get no availability penalty. And that one, and then for the 90s with the Apilas, take the Mark III. I still have yet to play more games with this. I had like, especially in my mech decks, Italy mech, want to experiment more with just like 80% relying on just spamming these bad boys, especially in forests, right? Obviously, they're not gonna really hold a candle to proper shock squads. But the thing is, they're still line infantry with MGs and a acceptable primary weapon, and like an Apilas, right? The idea is behind this is just, yes, they would probably use to shock spam, but there's basically no vehicle support you can use against them in forests, right? So I never really have to worry about sending other stuff with them. Is the idea. But they still have like the downside of being slow and needing to basically be together, right? That's definitely an argument to be made to play to use these as well. But I'd also like to put in man pads. Ah, don't we get to see them? I think we should be fine without man pads. Automatic is obviously a must, especially the Italian one with the 6 armor. Mortar is neat. We could use the AGM on the rest. True, honestly, let's use it, right? I've not been using the M270s in quite a long time, simply because I'd like to spam like these 60-point howitzers. I just find them more fun, right? It's also been like nerfed in the South Africa DLC with a bit more expensive and all that. I think they also use more supply since then, but they're still very good, right? The main downside is, especially compared to the Eurogun, the long range means like a minimum range, right? So on held in a very small place or in paddy field, it can sometimes be a bit awkward to use this. Also, an argument to be made to just run 2 of these because they're just ridiculously good at just supporting infantry fights, especially when you do rely on these Fanteria de Linea, where you're relying on numbers and they usually don't have the DPS. They're just gonna sit there and tank for a while, and then you have the time to use these Porta Mortaios. That's a really strong combination, especially for forest fights. Actually, I think I'm gonna down with this. So to keep in the spirit of to stay in spirit, to keep in spirit, to use a proper term here, phrase here, I'm gonna rely more on ASFs to defend against planes. At least that's gonna be the idea. I'm gonna run 2 downloaded Arietes. Upgrading would be neat, but after this, there's a big gap, and then we only get the Mark III, right? Mark III is solid, but don't forget, 5 side armor on an 85-point tank. It is a good tank, don't get me wrong, but it is class cannon-ish, right? It's not on the level of like an AMX 40. It can survive any kinetic shot up front, assuming you don't get crit. Like a single one, right? Even like a point blank M1A2, you will survive. Because 13 armor and kinetic AP caps at 30, in case you didn't know. But that doesn't mean that, it's like suddenly the best tank in the world, right? It has okay speed, has a good gun. There's 2 MGs, which is neat, one of which being a 50 cal, which is great. But again, the side armor and front armor for the Precos as well. I guess as important as the 13 armor threshold and such can be and is, it's not like the be all end all, right? Because in these days, where super heavies, while still common, and like games aren't like 80% of the time you go up against somebody starting with 1 or even 2 super heavies. It's just not that. That's just not how it is anymore, right? So the 13 armor threshold is just, in my eyes, these days it's like oh yeah, that's neat, and not as much as oh, I need this in order to compete against super heavies in force, right? As it kind of used to be back in the day. And with back in the day, I mean like 2017. Frick me, that's 8 years ago. Alright, we're armored, so we get lots of veterancy. M47s are gonna be good, like spam and fire support tanks. I think they're a bit underrated. Forefront armor, 50 cal, 3 HE, 8 RPM, good autonomy, acceptable speed, 15 points is great. AP and range are lacking, especially range I think is a bigger deal, more so than AP. Because range obviously also helps with your HE rounds, not just AP, and HE is usually what you need them for. Although against IFVs and such, of course, AP as well. Still, very solid fire support tanks. Like 4 armor is really good against autocannons. Tank wise, what do we want in terms of medium tanks? Honestly, I've never really considered that too much because they're not great. Let's see, in the 60-point category of these 2 choices, right? We trade. Oh. We lose 1 AP, we lose 10 KMH, we lose optics. But we gain 4 armor. We also lose 20% stabilizer. It's actually relatively interesting. The speed is annoying. But the armor is not bad by any means, I have to say. I usually never really consider the M60A1. But I think in this scenario, it's like neat defensive tank. We still have the 10 RPM. Like against Moto and such, the armor is gonna come in so in handy. And I think for how I want to consider this tank, like I said, a more defensive tank, I usually want some Riken around anyway. So I think I'm actually gonna take this for the armor. Let's see, but for 10 points less, we lose yet another AP compared to the Mark IIA. We also lose the optics at the Mark IIA, and I think I'll stick with the M60A1. I think that's an acceptable tank in this scenario. What do we have in this? Okay, M61 gains 1 armor, but loses 2 AP, 5% accuracy. A range step? No, 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 no. M60 is a horrible choice here, the A1. How does it compare to the Leopard 1A2? Leopard 1A2 has a stabilizer, but less armor, less range. No, the L40 is the choice here. If I even want to run it, I'm gonna put it in, but it doesn't really fill a role because we have the Recon Leopard as well in the pretty much the same price range, which again, which of course loses range, loses stabilizer, but has stealth and optics is a bit faster. Sorry, not loses stabilizer, loses armor. So I don't think that the 040 in tank type is really gonna be particularly necessary. Bersaglieri, they're solid. ACM 80, 2 cards of you. Honestly, could run these, but then again, 20 versus 25, and here we have Sweden and like if they got like a special weird transport, which in some objects I think you get, right? Oh no, think of mech. If they got like a separate transport, it gives some additional utility compared to the Bersaglieri, I'd consider it, but in this case, I don't see a reason to, I'll be honest. C1360 is good. I mean, I don't see myself using the tour a whole lot, but we'll see. I will need some more activation points. I'm gonna get rid of a few first. Alright. Like I said, I wanted to do more ASF heavy. I think I'm gonna go for the tornado. I think it gives me a lot more value than the ASA one per card. The ASA one is funny, but I don't think it's that. Is it? It's the same veterancy, but 3 per card, right? Now the Skyflash compared to the Aspide. Skyflash gets 1.4 kilometers extra range, which is really good. AIM-9Ls are identical. ECM is identical. And then again, honestly, no, I think I'll stick with the ASA one actually. Could even run 2 cards. Carrier is an acceptable AT plane. This is an acceptable cluster plane, and we need I want the 5th plane, alright? I think I can definitely get rid of one of you. I don't need that many recon squads. And sorry, but the tour has to go. Tour has to go. I don't see myself using it a whole lot. It's just awkward to use. And with the tank deck, I don't think we'll need it as much. Then again, we're tank deck that has 2 Arietas and then nothing than the OF40 Mark III, right? It's not like we're the heaviest of tanks. Yeah, I think I'll run Seed. Could have with this. I'm not going to though. F104G is also, of course, a decent plane, but it doesn't really survive much, and we're a slow deck. And while it would, of course, be nice to have, I think our plan is to just play it slow and just overwhelm with M47s and such, and we just want to actually protect mostly against bombers rather than use them. Alright. Yeah, I think I'll keep them down with it. Nah, I'm not. Yeah, this shall be our deck. Italy Armored, I hadn't had the deck saved yet, right? I hadn't built that before, at least not since the DLC came out officially. Yeah, that's gonna be our deck, and I shall see you in a second once we find the ranked game. Alright, we got Pano. Is that? Hold on. Is it my screen? I think it is. Alright, well, either way, they are playing Blue 4 as well. Okay, well, I'm not sure if our deck is great for pushing Fox. I think we want to focus on Bravo. Lots more cover, lots more medium ranges. We don't want the super long ranges with our deck. I think. Methinks. We are pretty darn slow, so that's something we have to keep in mind. Even worth to bring those if they arrive so late? Probably still. Let's get a double stack. And bunch of you. Bunch of you, an automatic. Let's get some of you for mid. Some stuff on the right. That would be an interesting opener. Just spam Ariete and automatic. But I think we can actually make it work. We don't immediately need a mortar, honestly. It has good range, so I think we could get away with just getting it late. I'd still like to have it early just to get the smoke down ASAP, because with having only one proper tank, we still want cover. Like some decent cover to work with. Could start without a second sweep, but I'd really like to start with the second one, honestly. Maybe we should just do it like this. Honestly, the C13 is not really necessary either with the M47 on elite. Get the mortar, maybe get like at least one Abdullah squad. Get like a Milan squad around as well. And just save those 25 points. We are very light on the right, but I think that's okay. Instead of the ACM, I should probably get something else though. Instead of these, then again, they're still pretty decent in a defensive position against infantry. Because they're shocks, right? Well, let's just see what we can do. If this truly is who I think it is, I'm probably up against some kind of moto deck. But I don't know. We really want to find out ASAP though if there's a push happening here, because then we wanna, and we have to reroute a whole lot of stuff. They literally don't say anything. That's very, unless they're muted. What's the name? Pato or something? Pano. Yeah, they don't say anything. All right. Oh. Oh, there we go. We are incredibly light in mid in the flanks, but I'm just banking on putting stuff fast enough if we are too late. I'm actually gonna be very conservative with this stuff. This is a F4. For F? Who uses an F4F these days? This tells me that there's like helicopters coming there. Or he's defending against helicopters coming there. There's a Gazelle, so it is Eurocore. Logistique. Not Moto. Okay, let's be very greedy and get the second CV. Could be mech. No, this is not mech. It's unspec or armored. It's a Ronin 3. Just get one of you in there just in case. Get that smoke down. He likes to be a bit cheesy, so let's get a see them here. I don't want to lose to a Kasai people sneaking around and about. Bunch of AMX 10s. It's a bomber. Mirage, that's whatever. I forgot about you. That's great. But I didn't forget about Dre. Hey. Oh yeah, there was a 90s variant in there as well. I forgot about that part.
Adoro l'odore del napalm al mattino.
Right, and his own ATGMs in there as well. Gotta be careful there with our
Non è la mia guerra.
Ariete and automatic.
Cosa voli? Noi la portiamo giù. Al suo servizio, signore. Più grande M.
Smoke this up for now. What a line of sight, man! Holy.
Il rospo.
Let's get some more M47s around. Wait, hold on. This is just no. This is not France. There was an F4F. It's an odd front deck for sure, though.
Si riduce sempre al fante e al suo fucile. Adoro l'odore
Oh come on, the fucking route they're taking. Please.
Avete bisogno di un vantaggio. Aiuto!
Get a bit back.
Al suo servizio, signore. Ci dia solo qualcosa da mangiare, signore.
Oh shit! All of my infantry died there. Jesus, what happened?
Sì, signore. Hai qualcosa per me?
Yeah, this range model will actually, man, I couldn't one-shot it in time.
Hai qualcosa per me? Lasciate che I piccoli carri armati vengano da noi.
Keep the smoke up.
Prende il mio.
I'd like to snipe those AMX since they are truly annoying.
Se il nemico è a tiro, lo siamo anche noi. Senza di noi sareste ciechi. Sta parlando con me. Hai qualcosa per me?
It's a Leopard 1. Maybe a Recon Leopard 1? I don't think it has an MG.
Quali sono?
I just took a lot of damage there, Jesus.
Sputi il rospo. Pronto, signore. Vai avanti, va.
Certainly annoying at the very least.
Senza di noi sareste ciechi.
Actually, no.
Pronti, signore.
Oh, there's some sneaky action there happening. Shock M103s. I'm not sure if they're... No, they're not from Deckman's Club, but they came in line. And then the Marder ones, I presume.
Ci hanno individuato.
Yeah, this is indeed a Recon Leopard.
Notato qualcosa. Senza di noi sareste ciechi. Un po' di potenza di fuoco in più.
Get more of these. They can be really good fire support. More M41s, M47s.
Sputi il rospo. Senza di noi sareste ciechi.
My infantry here died.
Ha bisogno di altri occhi, signore. Hai qualcosa per me?
What get you to the farm? Did I get another one? I did, yeah. Those two. Okay, okay. My
Al suo servizio,
Commentary has not been very well, commentary-ish, but just... Oh, that's cheeky. That's what was in those M113s.
Aiuto!
For sure.
Signor sì, signore!
Careful, yeah, with your... You're actually getting absolutely destroyed because your AT is dog shit. Alright, well, those are the Milan squad is gonna get resupplied. That's of course annoying. Panzer grunts.
Inizia a diventare pericoloso. Ci hanno individuato.
I was late with the stuff here because I wanted to have this cleared before they... I don't want that shit to get destroyed by like
Un esploratore è un esploratore morto. Così si dice.
Deckungsgruppe, right? Oh, he runs them in 5-pointers after all. Maybe... Oh, I think he runs 2 cards of Deckungsgruppe. Could that be it?
Ci hanno individuato.
Oh, that's some AT in there. Let's try that. More of these. They're gonna be really good. He likes spamming the cheap stuff, huh? Very interesting. Did you get the kill? You got the kill. Got veteran seals. Very good.
Vai avanti, passo.
Move you to mid and get like a Edam here.
Cannoni controllati e pronti.
And honestly, I think pretty soon we can just
Il motore.
put a CV on the right. Would love to have an infantry CV, but it is what it is.
Altrimenti sarebbe una volgare rissa. Ci hanno individuato.
He loves his Rican Leopards as well. Can't blame him. They're not bad by any means.
Aiuto!
Still unsure. Is he just playing an odd unspec?
Il rosso. Sì, signore.
CV down.
Siamo ingaggiati! Da lì potremo vedere meglio. Al suo servizio, signore.
Careful there with the vehicles. I'm gonna get a CV first though. Don't want to fall behind the conquest points. Move these over there.
Potremo vedere meglio.
Move the Arietta over. Automatic we have here as well. If you get lucky, we might not run seals. Oh, they got caught out there. Very good.
Buon esploratore.
Just turn your weapon up. Alright, alright, alright.
L'artiglieria aggiunge dignità a quella che altrimenti sarebbe una volgare rissa.
You're empty as well.
Roger, ci spostiamo lì, chiudo. Hai notato qualcosa?
No, got unlucky with the hit there. But honestly, it's
Gli esploratori sono pronti, signore.
nice. Okay, that's a Kasai AP. Move you like over here.
Noi la portiamo giù.
If you stay there. Oh no, it's a Puma Pirate. Okay, that's probably a Commandos Para. Sorry, a Commando Marines. The, if I had to guess. Special Forces. I could also be up at the Commandos Para.
Accelerate, abbiamo fretta. Sta parlando con me? Ci hanno individuato.
He likes his Deckungsgruppe. Holy.
Diamo loro un po' di tempo. Ci hanno individuato. Chi vuole che
Did I
trasportiamo?
get to see them there? I didn't yet. Let's do that. More pirates. Ugh. Get you out of there.
L'artiglieria deve aiutarmi perché altrimenti sarebbe una volgare rissa. Ha bisogno di altri occhi, signore.
Milan there. Autocannon there. Probably Deckenscope squad.
Cliente per una corsa in taxi? Ok, arriveremo il più velocemente possibile.
What's happening here?
Che cosa vuole?
Artillery?
Dove volete che sia consegnato? Non è la mia guerra!
I might be able to push mid. Get more M47s, more spam, more recon. This is the problem with stuff like Deckenscope. They can have really good DPS, and they're very versatile. But like if you're up against fire support, like like lots of fire support, that's where they really struggle because they don't have the staying power and like tankability of normal infantry, right? They're lower HP,
Nulla da segnalare.
and that can make things very, very awkward. Knowing if this truly is Mesrin, knowing him, gonna get a second CDM. Could suddenly be like 3 Kasaipis coming around there. And I feel fairly confident that I can get a strong foothold in mid. Was overextending there, and now doesn't have the defenses to stop much.
Sputi il rospo.
Okay, what? Jesus Christ, see?
Per una corsa in taxi?
Holy crikey. And there was like some kind of autocannon. I don't know what, but some kind of autocannon.
Signore?
Well, told you. There was a Deckungsgruppe and that smarter one probably that was there. Get another one. I never had this bug. That's an odd one. Am I buying this now? Okay, I can right click on there. Okay, there you go. There's a Puma Pirate. Jesus Christ, it's a lot of stuff over here as well.
Finalmente un po' di azione.
I have no great healer hunters in this deck, unfortunately.
Non è la mia guerra.
Martyr 2s as well. No great bombers either.
Avete bisogno di un passaggio?
You can load back in there.
Ci hanno individuato.
Okay, I think I have to evacuate with this CV just to be safe.
O toglietemi dal cazzo.
Get some more C-dumps on the field. Move you to the front line.
Un buon esploratore è un esploratore morto. Sì, signore.
Alright.
Qualsiasi cosa voli, noi la portiamo giù.
Okay, those 50 kills will easily with those pirates. I sort of view.
In movimento.
Okay. Well, games against Mesrin are always a bit different.
Aiuto!
Yeah, there's the Deckungsgruppe.
Esploratore morto. Hai notato qualcosa?
Oh my god. Speaking of.
Qualsiasi cosa voli, noi la portiamo giù.
What are you going for? My mortars? Okay. That is certainly a playstyle, right?
Gli occhi, signore.
Get like one of you in here, one of you in there.
L'artiglieria aggiunge dignità a quella che altrimenti sarebbe una volgare rissa.
bomber? Doesn't have any ECM though. And died.
Esploratore è un esploratore morto. Così sia. Qualcuno ha chiamato un taxi.
Come on now.
L'artiglieria pesante, signore.
Did I lose like a CV there? I did to the Decoscope,
Nulla da segnalare.
I wasn't lying though, was I, when I said that playing against Mesrin is always like a, well, experience, I guess is the way to phrase it.
Ai suoi ordini, signore. Al suo servizio, signore.
You want to repair these?
Ha bisogno di altri occhi, signore.
Might as well resupply you. Those rockets are very, very useful. Get that CV here. I think I flushed out those quads. Smoke this off.
Signore.
Walk you up. Leopard Recon died.
Gli esploratori sono pronti, signore. Hai notato qualcosa?
I'm not sure what RT did is, if it's M110 or something else. Oh, it's just normal Roland. Roland. Not even a Roland 3.
Se il nemico è a tiro, lo siamo anche noi.
But I still need to like actually deal with this. I can't just let him like waltz through there.
Tutto quello che vuole, signore. Sta parlando con me.
Not my recon! Oh no, he's going for my mortars? Or my fob? I don't know, he's going for something.
Qualche cliente per una corsa in taxi?
Get some flamers. Get a Milan.
Signore. Qualsiasi cosa voli, noi la portiamo giù. Chi vuole che trasportiamo?
Yes, civil combat.
Noi, signore?
Yeah, there was something again. Oh, that's a martyr. Can't deal with that. With the helo. Recon squad.
Qual è il piano?
I would love to have like a. I guess I could get a tank CV, but no.
Tutti i vostri desideri. Diamo loro un po' di tempo.
Oof, you're not looking good, Chief.
Wilco, chiudo.
Ouch! Damn. See, even like a leopard, even like leopard 1 is still just leopard 1. This push here is. Oof.
Quali sono i suoi ordini, signore?
I did not expect that much stuff to come out of there. The amount of. Ooh, that was lucky. The amount of stuff that came here really caught me off guard. Not, and this is where
Signore?
not having HE bombers can be really frustrating, right? Because I couldn't like, didn't have anything fast for this push.
Signore.
And time is kind of running out.
Alfante al suo fucile. Roger, ci spostiamo lì, chiudo.
Might as well give you ammo. One MX-10.
Gli esploratori sono pronti, signore.
Wait, no, this could be mech. I'm stupid. You don't get veterancy on mech on infantry anymore. That's why I thought it wasn't mech. I'm actually very, very stupid. This could very much be mech. Because I was just thinking, he has still so much stuff, right? But of course, it could very much be mech. And the AMX-10P, right? I didn't look at the veterancy, the vehicle type one. If I had seen that veterancy and paid attention to it, I would have realized this is almost certainly mech. Well, I would have known at that point, but I didn't look at it. But now, if I saw one, I would say, yeah, this is definitely mech. Did buy another tank CV.
Avete bisogno di un po' di potenza di fuoco?
You're spotted.
Roger, ci spostiamo lì, chiudo.
I could honestly try to counter battery. Assuming he has Cesars. Oh, those attacking scope are actually mulching me, especially 4 of them.
Hai qualcosa per me?
This is the difference between the sides, right? If you push mid from the other side, you have usually more to work with. Here, there's only so many spots I can put my CV in. Although I'm definitely still among the minority, and could of course be wrong, who says that yes, my side is worse, but I think some people think or are of the opinion that the difference is quite massive, where I'm more of a... It's not that big. I think it's more of an M110. I think those salvos are pretty short. I'm floating way too much. Yikes. This is bad. This is usually... Come on, man. That's Mesrin for you. Just always stuff around the flanks. It's kind of crazy, I'll be honest. Well, let's give it a shot. This is honestly kind of a last-ditch effort, I'll be honest. I think we, for the majority of the game, had a pretty decent KD, but I think this is also a good showcase of that just not being the only thing that matters in wargame. Oh no, the only thing mattering. They're still alive there. Oh, AMX. Nice, man.
Pronti a sparare, signore.
Bastatore, I honestly pretty bad for this.
Hai qualcosa per me? Onore servire sotto il tuo comando. Chiedono di coordinare.
Ay, ay, ay. I had no smoke left, I just realized. Nah, that's over.
Chi aggiunge dignità a quella che
He played well. Interesting. Yeah. It's this push here that won in the game. Getting back in there is actually very difficult. It's also very, like, for me, but it's very difficult for him to get that position in the first place. But I just didn't see coming how much he had. And this is what you get for not having Recon here. That was my mistake. I think that is like, if I had to put it down, GG. If I had to put it down to a single mistake, or like the most important thing, it's not having Recon in there. Usually I put stuff there. I don't know why I didn't this time around. Maybe because I didn't have something like Hachinana or something wheeled along those sides, but that's why you should put Recon there. Because losing the town on the right, especially if you don't have great bombers or something on those lines, incredible tough to get back into, and I shouldn't have let that happen. And I'm pretty sure up until that point, I was probably leading in KD, if not at least even, right? I was getting a lot of good kills on his stuff, right? But then he ended up getting in there. His flanks cost me a lot. I think that I did lose the Jeep CV, right? Yes, the Deckensgruppe. They got a lot of damage in. Yeah. I mean, he played well. It is what it is. We are playing with a very inflexible deck, I'd say. It is a slow burn deck, but if you get caught in flank fights and such, this is where armor decks, and especially an armor deck like this, struggles. I have no autocannon helicopters. I didn't put in any bombers. I could have had bombers. I got punished for not having bombers. I didn't buy a single plane this game because all my planes are either AA or anti-tank. So I never had to buy a single one of them. And I have no like good shock infantry for fighting, right? Shock infantry with Apidas or something would be like prime defensive units on the right, or Rico's rifle squads. The only ones I had were these. I think this was a good showcase of the deck, right? You can see what it's good at, right? With the M47 spam on elite, with the Fantaria spam, right? On the left and in mid, you saw where it's good at, and you also saw where it really struggles. But well, it is what it is. Yeah, not having the Recon on the right. If I had seen it coming, could have prepared a lot earlier. Let's actually briefly take a look at the replay. I think the other option what I could have done is I could have realized or given up on the right much earlier and pushed with infantry much harder in mid to get an actual foothold in there. That would have been the other option. And maybe it would have worked. Because it looked like he didn't have a little. But I didn't have the stream of infantry coming in to actually secure that properly. Like this foothold only gives you so much. It's hard to actually stay long in there, especially if your opponent already has the artillery, which my opponent did, right? If you force your opponent into buying this in the first place, you can still get a lot of value out of that position, but he already had the artillery. He didn't have to buy it, so just spending the time to artillery me out of there wasn't really a big deal. Yeah, look at this. That is just peak Mesrine, man. And yeah, like armor is very slow, right? So once I had the stuff here, it's kind of difficult to like keep pushing because you need to wait until the stuff comes, right? You need your screen infantry, you need the fire support, you need this and that. Especially this deck doesn't have that many like individual like units that are individually just can act on their own. Oh wow, I got a bit lucky here as well. Just a slightly different timing and they could have killed the Leopard 1 CV there. I pretty much no eyes on there, and that's yeah. It is what it is. Oh, I actually didn't kill any of those. Okay, interesting. When I saw them, I assumed they were empty, and I assumed that my leopard one would kill them. Both, in regards to both, I was wrong, which is kind of hilarious. Yeah, you had nothing there, right? But that's the problem with having like a too high value units. I was also just incredibly careful because I didn't want to get my automatic sniped by Milan too, right? It is what it is. And those were M110s, yeah. I mean, he did well, what can I say, right? Oh, 2 more coming. Yeah, this is like, when you are ahead versus armor deck, this is what you should do. Keep being annoying on the flanks, because they hate dealing with this stuff. They're slow and inflexible. Did I actually get anything? I don't think so, right? Would have to get a bit lucky there. Nah. I mean, I got a bit damage in, but... Like I said, it was just a desperation play. I think at that point, I mentally gave up because I'm pretty sure it was over. But yeah, that is the, and I very much agree with that, right? That is the issue with pushing here. Like once you get your foothold here, it is very tough to get past this, right? So usually when you are pushing here, this is all you will have. Whereas from the other side, if you get in here, it is much easier to exert pressure onto this bush and this part, etc., etc. To like keep expanding out. Whereas from my side, it is still more difficult. Yeah, but at the end of the day, I lost it here, right? Damn. Oh well. Still, I hope you enjoyed it. I didn't get to do any ASF shenanigans, so I'll just keep that in mind for future videos. And yeah, I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Bye bye.